Welcome back to Giving Chances Farm. Today we're just going through doing some hive inspections. We pulled honey supers. There's a previous video for that where we pulled the honey supers and did some extraction. We still have some supers out here on a few hives, but our plan is to get them off in the next week or so completely. The ones that are off, we're going to do an inspection this week of everything, and then when we go to pull honey supers off, we'll do our mite washes and start treatments after that. With that being said, we'll make the decision at that time whether we end up doing Apivar or what we do at that point. Last year we used Apivar. This year in the spring we used Apivar, and then we had one hive that did a mite wash that come back in like 4 or 5, I think it was. So we ended up using Formic Pro on it. Didn't have the problem with the queen that everybody talks about. She was still laying fine. We pulled, eventually got honey off of it. And actually to this day, the hive, I'm looking at it, it's behind the camera here. It's the set there that has 2 supers on it right there, the double blue brood box. So it still has honey supers on it, so we'll be pulling those at a minimum within the next week. Trying to get all of those off before the goldenrod hits in our area. And that way we can have time to do our treatments as early as possible, and they can use the goldenrod to pack the honey away in the hive for their winter feed. So we're going to get started here. Let's see. We were in this hive last week and we had eggs all the way through cap brood up here in this top box. So and for those of you that's been around for a while and been watching our videos, we switched just most of our hives over, except for this year's splits, to the migratory pallets. We use a migratory pallet basically cut in half so that all of our hives are facing the same direction. We also use the Pro feeders on the inside of the hives. Keeps us from having problems with robbing. And also, if you'll notice the difference between our inspection videos from last year, which was our first year beekeeping, till now. Last year we always started closest to us and worked every frame all the way across. We've got too many hives now to be doing that. It takes too long. So basically now I come into the middle, which is where the brood should be. We pry it apart. I'll pull the frame out. I don't care if I see the queen or not as much as I do that I see eggs. Alright, this one here, they're backfilling everything with nectar. And the bright white wax means this was a newer foundation put in, so that's why the wax is a lot brighter. I didn't see anything on that, so I work my way back and forth across the frames until I find
there's some brood.
We got cap brood on this side, and they're backfilling around it with nectar.
Same on that side.
This one here, they've got the cap brood, and then in the center, where they've hatched out already, they're backfilling it. And actually, right here, it's kind of hard to see, but at the tip of my hive tool is a bee that's hatching out right now. And then there's another one. So there's a couple of those that are hatching right now. So Alright, this one here's got a lot of drone brood on it. For those of you that are new on beekeeping, if you've seen the last stuff that I called brood, it was nice and flat, versus this looks like bubbles, kind of like. So this is your drone brood, which would be your male bees, and the only thing the drones are good for is to go out and mate. They don't bring any resources into the hive. They actually just eat.
One drone.
And the drones are a lot bigger than all the rest, and they don't have a stinger on them either, so they can't sting you. So when you have young kids and they're wanting to learn to pick up bees, those are the ones you can teach them to pick up, because they can't hurt the kids. And if the kid happens to hurt that bee, it's not as detrimental to the colony as it is if they squish a queen or something else. So yeah, they're getting a little agitated now. Now we've got more brood, and then they're back filling it with nectar.
Same on this side.
Same on this side. So this colony's gonna force me to go into that bottom box. So what we do is we get our spacing back. Get everything pushed back together, because we don't want them building cross comb between the frames, making it that much harder to get them out. Alright. Okay. Now basically we're going to do the same thing as I did in that top box. We're going to create our spacing. And then we're going to pull.
Some brood. Cat brood.
Pollen. Brood and pollen on this side. Couple pieces of larvae. There's a whole bunch of eggs all the way through smaller stages of larvae on here, and this is a fresh wax. If you notice, they haven't all the way drawn it out yet. We prefer to run the black plastic foundation in our, and it makes it a lot easier to see. And there's eggs on this side too. So now basically I can put this hive back together. We get our spacing back. Put the next box up on top. Get our lid back in place. And because we went to the migratory pallets, we don't run inner covers on here. If we do inner covers, then our inner covers are Reflectix insulation, basically. Some people call them foamies. I think in Canada, Ian Stepler calls them a foamy. But basically it's Reflectix insulation that's actually manufactured here in our hometown. Less than a mile and a half from us is where the factory is. So we use a lot of that product around here, not only just in the beehives, but we use it to insulate our house and other things with it as well. So this is just going to be a quick video. We're only going to show this one hive inspection. But kind of the way that we do it, since they're on pallets, and you can see that they're a little bit disturbed right now. So instead of going straight to this next one here, I'm actually going to bounce to the other, about midway down in our apiary, and work one of those hives on the skid. And then if they get angry, I will come back and work this one. We'll just kind of bounce back and forth until we get all of them done. It's a little bit more walking that way for us, but we write on top of the boxes, as you can see, with Sharpies or paint markers, and that tells us our last inspection. So here in a minute, when Brittany cuts the camera off, she will actually write on this box that we found eggs through cat brood on here. Then, like I said, next week when we finish pulling off the rest of the supers, we'll do the mite washes. I want to do all the mite washes at one time. That way we can treat the whole apiary as needed at one time. That way I'm not trying to remember, well, did that one get a treatment? Did this one get a treatment? Even though we write the notes on top of the box, it's easier if we just treat the whole apiary at one time, as long as it's needed. But we're going to judge that off of the mite washes, not just throwing treatments in the box and hope that we get them through winter. So with the mite wash, we'll be able to tell how the mite load is before we give them a treatment, if it's needed. And then after the treatment, we'll wait so long, and then we will do another mite wash to see if the treatment was effective or not. One of the resources that we've seen recently, and I'll leave a link to it in the description below, it's Honeybee Health Coalition, and it does real good about talking about what treatments to use when, and even has videos to show you how to use each of the treatments that it would suggest. So I'll leave a description in the description below. I'll leave a link to the Honeybee Health Coalition, and hope everybody enjoys the videos. Don't forget to like, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to us yet. We'd appreciate to see you back on future videos. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you see us on when we are notified when we upload new videos. And as of right now, that's every morning at 6 a.m. our time. We put out a new video. So we'll see you on the next one.